If you came up to me right this second and said, hey Josh, what are 5 of your favorite MCU movies? I'd go, you're asking so suddenly and so abruptly. Okay, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and Black Panther. I hope that list was good and I'm not forgetting something. I probably am. Black Panther is one of the few MCU movies to be nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars. It's hyped up as one of the best MCU movies, and I love it. I remember loving it when I first saw it in theaters, the couple times that I've rewatched it since. But with Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever coming out soon, I figured, hey, it's probably a good time to go back, rewatch Black Panther, both to refresh myself on the plot and the characters and all of that, but also to set my expectations right. Is Black Panther worth the hype? So that is what I'm about to do. I will probably occasionally pause the video and give some of my thoughts as we go, but with all of that being said, let's jump into it. So usually I stop and record my thoughts while I'm watching through something when I love something a lot, and I've got to be honest, I'm 40-something minutes in, and I've loved everything. I've loved every scene. I love all of the characters. I've been so engrossed that I forgot to stop and talk about some things. So let me run through some things. The chemistry between the actors and the relationships between the different characters are great. I forgot how sassy Okoye is to T'Challa. The sister dynamic between T'Challa and Shuri is great. I guess if I had to nitpick something in the first whole 40 minutes of this movie that I'm like, oh, I don't really like this, I think the "what are those" joke didn't age well. That's it. That's what I've got in terms of complaints. We get to see a little bit of Killmonger at the beginning doing the museum heist, and he starts to give a little bit of his philosophy, how all of these pieces in the British Museum are stolen, which is factual. And it's like, yeah, he could be a vigilante who's doing good things with his philosophy. He just happens to be a villain, you could optimistically say, because that's his own choice and the way that he chooses to go about things, or you could pessimistically say because Disney would never want an anti-colonialist viewpoint put into their villain, put into their movie and shown to be right. And you know, it's probably a bit of both. He definitely has like some correct viewpoints, like all of this stuff in the African section of the museum was stolen. Like, your ancestors didn't buy this fairly. It should be up for grabs and taken. And he could say those things and know it to be true, but then the character chooses that, oh, so that makes what I'm doing right, murder, and furthering my own agenda for power. And Ulysses Claw, of course, is just furthering his own agenda for money. They liberate stuff from the museum, but not to return it to the people that it was stolen from, but to sell it for profit or keep it because he likes it. So, yeah, I guess that's like an undertone in the movie that I could complain about. But in terms of the execution of everything that's being done, the ideas that are being present, the actors, the characters, digging it so far. The underground casino fight scene was great. The car chase was fine. It was a car chase, but the dialogue exchanges between the Wakandans as they're on their way back to Wakanda with the US CIA agent in need of medical assistance about what the ramifications for helping this person should be versus it's the right thing to do, we need to help these people, but what about thinking of our people, what exposing us? It's his duty to report all of our technology to the world, back to his government. I love that. I love the nuance and the discussion between the characters on these themes, and T'Challa going to Forrest Whitaker's character and being like, hey, I have seen this dude who freed Claw has the ring of my grandfather. What is up with that? And Forrest Whitaker's character is like, listen, I promised the king I wouldn't say anything, and T'Challa's like, I am your king now. The conflict between the past and the present being something that T'Challa definitely didn't expect to happen when he spoke to his father, when he received the Black Panther serum again, because he loves his father. He thinks his father was a great king, but as he gets farther into this, we're going to see more and more that he can think his father was a great king, but he can still ultimately find himself disagreeing with his father's policies and moving Black Panther forward. And I just love the nuance in the main theme of the movie. It's a good movie. Still watch it. Okay, not gonna lie, I filmed that last section in the middle of the scene with Forrest Whitaker. I totally forgot that T'Challa's dad knew that they were leaving behind the kid, Killmonger. So it's not T'Challa learning, oh, my dad can still be a great king and I can disagree with his decisions. It's T'Challa confronting the idea that he was a great king, when actually, in fact, this was a bad thing that he did. This was bad. Obviously, he had his reasons for making the choice that he did, keeping Wakanda protected, protecting the bloodline, I think was something that Forrest Whitaker said, which is less of a good reason. But you could see his father justifying that as like, well, he was too engrossed in that society. My brother had already been radicalized. We couldn't introduce him here to learn all of our secrets and then go and share it with the world. You can see that argument being made, but this is so clearly a case where that is wrong. A wrong moral thing to do, and now T'Challa has to confront that. So, and he will have to directly confront it as Killmonger arrives at Wakanda at the same time that T'Challa is looking into these things and learning these things, and now confronting the knowledge that he has of that mission back in the 90s. So, I mean, great dramatic storytelling. I forgot that the dad actively did a bad thing that makes the movie even better than I remembered it. Still enjoying the ride. Though I will say, if they were so concerned about the CIA learning about their secrets, how come when Agent Ross wakes up, Shuri's just like, oh yeah, we healed you through technology, it's definitely only been one day, like, oh yeah, I created those sonic dampeners on the train to transport vibranium. Oh, there's vibranium on the train? Oh yeah, there's vibranium all around us. It's what I used to heal you. Here are all our secrets. Did no one tell her, don't say those things? Or if they were so concerned, they didn't keep a member of the Dora Milaje there to keep an eye on him after he woke up? That I think is my biggest flaw with the movie so far, but it's a huge technicality. It's a problem. It's like a nitpick problem, right? It's not a structural problem. It's not a character problem. I know from remembering the movie that Agent Ross is involved in the finale. They want him involved in the finale, so they've got to have him learn these things. I just think that it could have been more elegantly done, but After Killmonger beats T'Challa, throws him off the waterfall, and is named king, the scene between Nakia and Okoye, another great one between their two different ideologies. The lines at the end of their argument, you serve your country, no, I save my country. Great distinction. Both loyal to Wakanda, but in different ways. This conflicting ideology of tradition versus what's right, what has been done versus what perhaps should be done. It's great. It's good stuff. Some of the CGI in the finale isn't great. The war rhinos and the fighting between T'Challa and Killmonger in their Black Panther suits, not always the most convincing, especially when they're falling through the sky, or some of the wider shots where they're flipping around off the sonic dampeners on the train rails. Could have gone for some more practical fights for the finale. It felt more like the stakes and emotional heart of the finale was up on the main battlefield scene, as opposed to the two Black Panthers fighting, which, I mean, putting emotional heart in a battlefield scene is an accomplishment of itself, but not having the fight between the villain and the hero at the climax, like, we know the hero is going to win, but this movie doesn't do anything to challenge that belief in the climax. That being said, I love I love this all. The fights, when they are actual people doing stunts, are great. As soon as T'Challa wins the fight, Killmonger being like, good, that was a good move, as he's stabbed through the chest, and then T'Challa bringing him up so he could see the sunset over Wakanda as he dies, as his father described to him as the most beautiful thing in the world. He gets to die seeing that beauty. T'Challa offers to use their technology to heal him, and he says, why, so I can be locked up in jail? No, just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped off the slave boats, knowing that death was better than incarceration. Hoofa! This movie has some powerful things to say, and even though some of them are said by the villain, it is still some powerful messaging thrown in there about colonial past and colonial present, especially with the treatment of artifacts from cultures around the world that have been stolen and locked up in specifically British museums, but in Western and European museums around the world. Yeah, powerful stuff. I'm just about to be done, so I guess I'll give final overall thoughts in just a second. So yeah, overall, I don't know if I really liked the... No, who am I kidding? I love that movie, even more than I kind of remembered as time passed. Yeah, I have a couple nitpicks here and there. The CGI could be better. One or two scenes, like, they could have finangled a little better, but I mean, overall, themes were on point, writing was excellent, the actors were incredible, the dynamics between the characters were great and relatable and felt real, the directing was great, the cinematography was great, the costumes, the props, the sets, the most of the action set pieces were great. This is a clear example of how to do a superhero movie right, how to have fun with your characters, how to have good action sequences, but also how to tell a story and interweave themes that are both timeless and timely. Black Panther is one of the best offerings of the MCU, so when someone asks, is Black Panther worth all the hype around it, my answer is an enthusiastic yes. I thoroughly enjoyed going back and rewatching the movie. I think Ryan Coogler, the director and one of the writers, knocked it out of the park. If you've seen some of my reviews of the Creed movies, you know that I like his work overall, and I'm very excited to see what they do with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is coming out very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, unless you've got dumb, racist, hateful things to say. Then I really don't want to hear it. I, in fact, addressed a lot of things that were said about this movie when it was first coming out a couple years ago. You can check out that video right here, or you can check out some other Marvel reviews right over there. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great week.